Why 35mm will be my all-time favorite focal length? Well, first of all, it is versatile. From a technicality standpoint, it is not too wide and not too narrow. If I'm only allowed to bring one focal length with me, I will definitely pick 35. 35 is like this middle ground. You can still get a group shot if you want. For the individual portrait, it shines. It's a very versatile lens that provides a lot of flexibility. And second is the motive of the focal length. So a lot of time when I choose to shoot in this focal length, I am forced or I should say that lens encourage me to go closer to my subject, to go closer to the person I'm interviewing, the model I'm shooting. And there's a saying that say, if your pictures are not good enough, it's probably you're not close enough. I started as a documentary filmmaker, so I really enjoy and I really like the motive of shooting a picture. It's not just to make it look nice, but instead it's to tell a story. So some people will say 35, it's a very good storytelling lens, but what does that even mean? So I think what it means is that this focal length encourage you to get closer to your subject and closer to a distance that how a normal person will talk to each other, right? When you are talking in a daily life, and that is the distance between the camera and the subject, between you and the person. So not like a longer focal length where you need to stand further. I like 35 where I'm right in front of that person. And that being said, yes, I think 35 shines most when it comes to taking a portrait, but it's also fairly good landscape lens as well. I've shot a lot of different landscape with it, but I still think it shines the most when you're shooting a portrait, particularly if you're doing a documentary style interview. 35, it's really give you the sense of storytelling as it shrinks the distance between you and the subject, and that translates very well into the visuals. It's not just that when you are shooting, you get close to your subject, it's that distance translates into the pictures to the viewer. So a viewer looking at your pictures, looking at your videos, they feel the same as in they are there with you when the shoot happened. So I think that if done right, the translations of that space, it's a very unique reserved to 35. So these are the two main things, one more on the technicality side and one more on the artistic side. But there's a third reason why I really like 35, and that is for my own personal enjoyment. Now, I'm a professional travel filmmaker. I do a lot of travels, but most of them are for work. So I go to a place, I go to a different country, but mainly for production work. But sometimes when I take an off time, that I really go and visit a country by my own for leisure. Yes, I will bring a camera, but I also try to balance out between traveling and working. I don't feel like my trip is just another production day. You get what I mean? So I will most likely just bring one lens, which oftentimes will be the 35mm. From a perspective of I want to document something, I think 35 for me gives me a lot of enjoyment throughout my journey of leisure. So it encouraged me to document the moment instead of perfecting the shot. Because sometimes when you bring a different lens, you see something happening, you spend some time to think about how you're going to frame that, and you're going to move a little to just try to get that shot. And it's good. It's definitely good to do that. But sometimes, as I'm saying, for my personal perspective, sometimes I just want to enjoy more and not care about too much the technical side of a picture. Sometimes I just want to document, and 35 kind of give me that flexibility, and it doesn't take away the immersion of a travel. and I can still shoot pretty nice image from it. And of course, I'm referring to 35mm on a full frame sensor, a compositions, a field of view like this. So on a micro four third, we're talking about 17mm, and on an APS-C somewhere about 24. And I get it. It's not very easy for beginner photographer to fully appreciate 35, because most of us, we started the first prime lens is going to be 50. This is the cheapest prime lens, the easiest to manufacture, and usually we will start with 50. And 50 is very close to what our eyes will see. There's not much distortion, so people kind of like it with the bokeh and everything. But I really encourage newer photographers. I talk to my friend as well. If you are starting to get into serious photography, after 50mm, you try to learn about how to use a 35mm fully. So 35mm will give you a whole new perspective on how you approach a subject, how do you tell a story. So if you're looking for purchasing another lens outside of a 50mm, do look into 35mm, because I promise if you learn to use it, you see a whole new world. I'm Zach, and if you like this kind of random stories, sharing, let me know down in the comment if you have any questions. And also please don't forget to like, subscribe, so I know that this kind of video are welcome, and I will continue to make more content like this. Maybe just a random sharing, I don't know. Alright, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.